Can we talk about that on here? Will you talk about trying to interview him?
I don't think I can.
Because that's the funniest thing ever.
I can't throw him under the bus like that.
Okay. Oh, that'd be so funny. Why are people so weird? Holy shit. All right, guys, we are here with Jordan Johnson on Santino's World. Jordan is... Oh, I got to fix my mic over here. Jordan, you have like a combat athlete dream life, even though you probably don't think it. You're pretty negative about yourself.
Yeah, I'm a hater. I hate myself. Why'd you even have me on here?
I don't know.
This is over. Get me out of here.
You're just going to talk about how much you hate yourself the whole time?
Yeah.
But you've got, you were Illinois state champion wrestler in high school, right? Iowa runner-up, wrestled at the University of Iowa, fought in the UFC, went 4-0, and then from there you decided not to renew your contract, went to the PFL, fought, 5 times in a year or 6?
5 times in like 6-7 months.
5 times in too little of time, 2 of which were on the same night, and then made it to the finals in the PFL. So you've done a lot in this sport, but you still hate yourself for what you've done in this sport. How did that happen? When did you start wrestling?
I started wrestling 6th grade summer.
Okay. And that was in Illinois?
No, that was in Colorado. So I started doing freestyle, which is in the summer, and I was awful. I didn't win a match. I got knocked out. Some kids souped me, like just terrible. Like really embarrassed. Like my dad and my uncle, who were good wrestlers, like they really didn't want me to do it. Like I was embarrassing them. Like they just hated it. They just wanted me to play football because I was good at football, but I was so bad at it. Like I had to get better at it. And then, so this is pretty funny. But so I didn't win a match. But then I went to the freestyle state tournament. Like you just show up. It's a kids tournament. And it was a 2-man bracket. So, got pinned or tagged or whatever, just got, beat up, but I got second on state. And then we moved to Illinois, and then I went into my 7th grade year, and I was going to do middle school wrestling, and I was like, are you any good? And I was like, well, I got second at state in Colorado. So, and so I did the junior high season, and that was 6 matches in your little area, the surrounding cities. And then 8th grade, I wrestled again.
Did you win a match?
I won about half of them.
Okay.
So I was doing better. And then 8th grade, I did same thing, did the little kid season, but then I actually got into club wrestling in Illinois, which is really good, IKWF, and started having a little bit of success and started getting better, and then really fell in love with the sport. Okay.
Did your dad, was he a little bit more supportive after that? Or?
Yeah. Once I started winning some matches and wasn't just getting tossed in my head, he came around to it.
That was awesome. And then when you won states as a sophomore or a junior?
I took 5th as a sophomore, and then I won state as a junior.
Okay.
And we moved to Iowa and had a really good year, but was undefeated, and I lost to some kid in the semis. I beat the state champ every time I wrestled. He was on the other side of the bracket. I lost some kid in the semis, came back, got 3rd. And then at team state, I majored him 2 weeks later. So just had a real, shitty match.
Just got you.
Yeah.
Why'd you move from Illinois to Iowa?
It was for my dad's work, but I wanted to go to Iowa, and it's just easier if you're in state.
Oh, you want to go to University of Iowa to wrestle, so it was easier. Where'd you live in Illinois?
Naperville. It's a western suburb.
Okay. How far is that from Iowa? Is that a ways, or is that... Oh, Naperville is up north, Chicago suburb, right? Mm-hmm. It's a ways. And then, so you went to University of Iowa, and what was that? Because you were telling me before, you're like, I wasn't ready for that. Who'd you have, who are your coaches there? That was...
Tom and Terry.
Brands, right?
Yep.
And they were, they're gold, were they both gold medalists, gold and a silver?
They were both world champs. Tom's Olympic champ, Terry was a runner-up.
Are they the 2 most intense humans the world has ever seen?
Tom is. Terry was more, I wouldn't say laid back, but you could communicate with him a little bit easier.
I think a Volcano is more laid back than Tom Brands.
Yeah, Tom was intense.
He's wild.
Dude loves wrestling.
Why'd you want to go to University of Iowa? I know it's a storied university wrestling program stuff, but why? Specifically, what'd you want to...
I just knew they were the best wrestling. That was, if you want to, that was the place to go if you wanted to wrestle. And it really actually started with when I was in eighth grade summer, doing some of the IKWF stuff. Went to like a dual tournament in Iowa, and I bought some tie-dye shirt that had Herky wrestling on it. And it was just a cool shirt. And then, wearing it around, and I was like, oh, Iowa wrestling, that's a really good place. Is that where you want to wrestle? And it's just like, yep. So just kind of, love that shirt, wore it all the time. Started having conversations about Iowa wrestling from that shirt. Okay. And it just kind of led into, I'm going to wrestle at Iowa.
So, I mean, were you recruited? Did you just show up and walk on, or how did that work?
Yeah, I was recruited. I think I was Tom's first recruit. Okay. In that class. So yeah, I was looking at even though I wanted to go to Iowa, I was still talking to a few other schools. Iowa State and Nebraska were the other big ones. And then West Hand came to my house, and it was real quick. It was, kind of, he told me not to bullshit. Like, if I wanted to go to Iowa, I was going to go to Iowa, and told me to call him the next day, and called him the next day, canceled all my other trips, recruitment trips, and that's pretty much it.
What was walking on to Iowa day one on the wrestling mats like?
So I got there early. I graduated high school, and I moved to Iowa City like a day or two afterwards. So I got there for like the off season, all the freestyle wrestling that went on, which, wasn't as intense as the season. It was, I don't know, it was a good experience, I guess. Like, I did really well as soon as I got in the room, like did really well with a bunch of really good wrestlers. So I don't know. It was
I mean, you said that they used to lock you into the, was it the sauna, the dungeon sauna?
Yeah.
Was that with everyone, or was that like hazing, just like hazing the new?
No, so they did, there was one year, it was like the red flag workout, which each summer when we run our wrestling camps, there's one workout that's super hard, like the red flag wrestling workout. So it was, a really intense workout. And then at the very end of it, it was get with your partner and wrestle live until someone quits. And so I actually just threw a headlock right off the rip, and put my partner on his back, and he just couldn't go anywhere. I just held him for like a good, like 6 minutes, and if he quit. So
that was it.
We got up and we started running, and then everyone else wrestles. Some guys went for like an hour, and we got done with that, and they took us down to, this was at the field house, and the sauna there, it was like blacked out the window. All the coaches stood in front of the door, and it was like, you're not going anywhere until we say you can get out. And just like, guys started breaking, and I was about to break too. And then I heard one of my friends start crying. I was like, you pussy. Like, I'm not going to do that. And so that, I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but
How long were you guys in there for?
Man, I don't know. Cause that was, you had no concept of time or anything.
It was just black in there? Was it dark in the sauna itself, or were there lights in the sauna?
No, it's completely black.
Just black.
Mm-hmm. But
so you're tortured in prison.
Yeah, and then they started letting guys out. One by one, they'd let you out, call you out, who could go. But I bet I was in there for, which isn't that long. I do hour-long sauna sits almost every day.
When you're a kid,
when you're probably 40 minutes after a hard workout, 30, 40 minutes, I bet. Which, I mean, if it's 5 minutes, if someone says you can't leave this room,
the second you can't leave, now you want to leave, and now you're going to panic.
Yeah.
Especially with a bunch of coaches outside.
Yeah.
Man, and was that every year that they did that?
That getting locked in the sauna like that was just a one-time deal.
What were the other, would you call them, the red flag workouts like? Were any other even remotely that intense, or was that the worst?
That's the one that sticks out.
Okay.
My memory from the from the sauna incident.
Like that's ingrained in your head for life. Oh my gosh. I love that. And then, so you went from Iowa, and you wrestled there 3 years or 4 years? All 4 years?
4 years.
And then did you you got a degree from Iowa, right?
Yeah. So I went to school at Iowa, and then I transferred for my last year, and I took those credits and transferred them back. And then there was a couple classes, like my last semester at GCU, I could only take one class, so I would transfer back.
Okay.
And so
that's right. Grand Canyon University for, people, and they had a wrestling program there at the time.
Yeah. So I was at Iowa, and, I just wasn't happy, and I really didn't want to wrestle anymore. I wanted to start fighting. And one of my uncles convinced me. He's like, you got to finish.
Got it.
So he convinced me, he's like, you got to, you can fight, but you need to finish your wrestling career. Like, you don't have to do it at Iowa, but you need to finish it.
Now, how do you know you want to fight? Did you ever train or do anything beforehand or what?
Yeah. So I just, again, kind of, same uncle. I was at his house, saw my
same
first...
uncle that made fun of you the first year.
No, that was a different uncle. So this is with Brian. You met Brian out in New York.
Yeah. Yep.
So, watching, I think it was Ken Shamrock and that big Hawaiian chemo.
Oh yeah.
Whatever the fight was, someone got stuck in like a or in like some crazy position, just started punching the dude's nutsack because this was
Gary Goodrich and when he got crucifixed, right? No, Josan. It was Josan, Chemo's little buddy. That he ended up getting, I think, murder charges or something. He went to prison for murder. Josan, yeah.
Yeah, so it was that fight. And then I think maybe he had, like, some other fights. And it was, like, I saw Phil Baroni. And
what year? You went to that live?
No, this was I was in middle school, maybe a freshman.
I thought that was after.
Maybe a freshman. And I was at his house, and he started showing these videos. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do that. You know, I was just, like, from that moment, I was like, oh, I'm going to fight. And then when I moved to Bettendorf, Champions Gym is right down the road. So I go in there and I did some lifting with one of the coaches there, and then I go wrestle with the fighters like twice a week. So I've really actually got involved with the sport.
And would you say, was that before your senior year? Or?
That was my senior year of high school.
And then when you came out to Phoenix originally, were you training or just going to school? Or
okay, so yeah, so I was at Iowa. Didn't want to wrestle anymore. Uncle convinced me to keep wrestling, started looking at other options. Found GCU, started talking with those coaches, and it was RC and Larry. And, got on the phone with them, told them, where I was at last year of eligibility, want to finish my wrestling career, want to get into fighting. And it was, we're best friends with Benson Henderson. Like, you come wrestle here, we'll get you in over at the lab. Went down to GCU, wrestled, finished wrestling, and then started training at the lab. And I was actually working in the mines. So I got a job working in the mines, and I started training over at the lab, started doing jiu-jitsu. So I finished, this would have been like April, because I finished wrestling March of 2012. Started training, and then some dude's thumb got hacked off and the ball mill at the mine, and I was like, okay, this actually isn't a route that I really want to take.
Where was that? Where's the mine at?
That was in Baghdad, Arizona.
Where's that?
If you drive out towards Vegas.
Oh, okay, that's right. In between, yeah. Now, like, were you in like a mine shaft, like down under the ground in a mine?
It was an open mine, so it was,
like big trenches.
Like it was really just like a big warehouse. Is where I was working, and it's where they had like the ball mill. So like it's this huge cylinder that they pump like all the rock and whatever in, and they have these huge steel balls that the cylinder turns and the steel balls bounce around and they break up all the rock, and then it gets pushed out on the other end of the cylinder.
What'd you mine for?
Copper.
Well, I guess so, yeah. Arizona's copper state. Yeah. What the hell else are you gonna mine for?
And so then after that dude's thumb got taken off, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna do this anymore. And then I went and talked to Crouch and was like, hey, I wanna fight. Like, how do I do this? And then I started training full time. And then I had my first amateur fight January of 2013.
And then how many amateur fights do you have before you went pro?
3.
Yes, we had a kid make his amateur debut the other day, and he was Chance Key, and he was a wrestler.
Oh, this is his first fight?
Yeah, first fight. And I told him, I said, because his dad was pumping him up pretty hard. I mean, he's just like a lot of, I was tagged with like 15,000 social media posts a day on Chance. And I was like, so I told Chance, I said, hey, I said, you got to cut out all the noise, because you're going to have an adrenaline dump. This is a big thing. Like, and he did mid-fight. I mean, he went out there and won, got the TKO, but him and that dude just like threw the fuck down. Like they just went. I mean, Chance had his hands down, waving them on, smiling, just swinging for the fences, got dropped, got back up, swung. I'm like, you could just take him dude down and choke him out. And he went punch for punch. Did you have a big adrenaline dump your first fight, or was it?
Yeah. I think, I mean, your first amateur fight is like, it's the biggest fight of it was the biggest fight of my career, because it was like, I had no idea what the hell was going on. Like, I was so nervous for that fight, but it was one of those things like, well, I'm going to go fight. Like, I don't have to do it again ever, but I'm going to go do this one.
How'd you win that fight? I'm assuming you won it, right?
Anaconda.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a short fight, so I didn't have that adrenaline dump in the fight, but I definitely had like the overwhelming, like, what the hell am I doing feeling for that one.
Did you remember it at all? Because a lot of times people black out during their first fight. People like afterwards, like, hey, how'd the fight go? And you're like, I don't know at all. Did you do that, or did you remember it?
I remember it.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember it.
Do you still get adrenaline for your fights, or are you pretty mellow at this point?
I think I'm pretty mellow. I guess I should ask you. I think I'm pretty mellow. I definitely try to get myself a little bit of that, like, before we go out, I always yell and try to get myself to kind of get
going.
Let's go fight.
But you amp yourself up in a fight, but also during training. We were joking about it early, when we started, that you hate yourself, but I wouldn't say you hate yourself, but I think you're kind of negative toward yourself. I think you're always,
I'm my worst critic.
Yeah, you're your biggest critic by far. I mean, like me and the other coaches, we'll see you doing stuff and we're like, hey, Jordan's looking great, this and that. And then you're calling yourself a pussy and like, fuck, I can do better than that. Like, why, have you always been that way? Were you that way with wrestling too?
Yeah. I think so.
Do you think that helps you be better, or do you think that's good for you, or do you think you should get away from that?
Both. I think, I want to be good, and that's why I do. I want to be great. I think so I expect a lot out of myself, and if I'm not, you want to be perfect. So if you're not doing what you want to do, if you're not doing it perfect, you're not, I feel like sometimes I'm not, I want to be perfect, That's what you strive. That's how you become good. So you hold yourself to a high standard. And if I'm not doing what I want to do, then I get upset. But that's good, because then it drives you to try to, achieve like excellence. So it's good to, be a critic and want, to do good, but also I do it too much, and I need to actually pat myself on the back every once in a while and be like, good job. Like, not.
I mean, I remember talking to you about that. I don't know if it was for this last fight or the one before. Like, hey, you're doing pretty well. Like, you need to take stuff in stride every once in a while. And then, because you've talked to sports psychologists before. What do they say? Do they say that the negativity is good, or do they say you got to get rid of that shit? Or is there a balance in between?
I don't remember any like specific conversations about me hating myself, having those. But I don't know. I would imagine they would say you got to do it in between. Like, you got to, you do have to be hard on yourself to some extent, but you also have to be nice to yourself as well. So somewhere in the middle. Because you see it in the gym, guys that think they're doing great and, like pat themselves on the back way too much and take a picture every time they, go into the gym, and it's like, oh, I'm killing it. I'm doing this, I'm that. And then they get into a fight and it doesn't, you don't do very good.
The Instagram fighters.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be an Instagram influencer these days.
Yeah. So I probably should pat myself on the back a little bit more, but
you've done pretty well.
Not too much.
What are you, 12-2, 13-2?
My record's 12-1, but it's 13.
The one is bullshit.
It's 13-2.
The one is bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the one we're talking about is, I think it was the first fight of the two, when you had the two fights in one night, the judges, so if they thought it was a tie, then the judges just picked who they thought won. And it was a tie. The judges thought you won. So you
all
won.
Three judges gave me the fight.
Yeah. All three judges gave you the fight in the PFL. But
one judge gave me 2 rounds. The other 2 judges split it 1-1. When they picked who won the fight as a whole, all 3 gave it to me.
Yeah.
I got my hand raised. I got the money. I won the fight.
Bullshit
so
that you got.
It's really dumb. It gets recorded as a draw.
I blame New York State for that one.
Yeah.
I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but we're in New York.
Shit, we're in Nevada.
Shit, fuck. Wrong.
I like Nevada.
Wrong side of the country. All right, I don't blame Nevada. If it was New York, I'd blame New York. But if it was Nevada, Nevada knows what they're doing. Oh, I wonder about that. I always say that whenever I always ask people why they fight. And, people always give me, I just like the competition. I like this, I like that. But really I'm wondering is like, why are you fucked up? Because like, I think every person that fights, something went wrong somewhere where this is their competition. Because if you're a normal person and you just wanted competition or to prove something to yourself, you'd like be successful in business or you'd something productive.
Yeah.
But like us as fighters, I think we all secretly and sometimes not secretly hate ourselves, or we did something, we're trying to prove ourselves. Like I know I had a chip on my shoulder when I was young, and I always wanted to prove it to myself that I was tough because I always thought I was a pussy.
Yeah.
And so I was, but I fought a lot growing up. I did a lot of the dumb, stupid shit that I don't think anybody else would have ever called me a pussy, but I always called myself a pussy and thought that I was always a bitch. So I had to prove it that I'm not. Look, I'm doing this stuff. Look, I can do it. Look at me.
Yeah, I think for me, definitely how bad I felt like I failed in wrestling, because I was really good at wrestling and I didn't accomplish, my opinion, shit. And I got done with it, and it was, my senior year at, I lost at the national tournament, and when it was over, that hit me so hard because it was like before, like I'd always, there was always like, oh, there's next year. Oh, get this one back. Oh, this. And that was like, it was like getting stabbed in the heart. Like it's over. And it hurt so bad. And then mixing in, like I don't really think I liked myself as like a person. Like I was just a wild ass kid. Like I knew I could just be doing so much better. And I found MMA, like I knew MMA could be my way to like kind of redeem myself. And so, why I hate myself would have been, that.
Yeah.
And
you didn't do what you expected to do. And so you're like, man, you just got to keep driving for it.
Yeah.
Like you don't always see the national champions turn, and you see the guys that All-American and didn't take first. But I bet you anything, if half the college wrestlers that were good wrestlers coming in, if they had won nationals, we'd never know who they are fighting wise. They would just be done with. It's a continuation of that. They didn't get what they wanted to get, and now this is the only way that they can keep that going. I think so. I don't know. So after you started fighting, you've trained with everyone. Like we've been random places.
You might not see me again.
Yeah, like we've been places, and you just pull up a picture of you and Vitor on the beach, like. Like who all have you trained with in the sport? Because you've trained with all the big names.
Let's see. I started out the lab, which that's Benson's gym,
yep.
And then from there I went out to Alliance, and that was I went to train with Phil when he was fighting
Davis,
Glover.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
And little did they know I just planned on staying out there. So I just kind of stayed out there. And
how long did you stay out there? What do you mean by you just stayed out there? Like, did you have a house, or you sleep in your car, or what did you do?
I slept in the gym.
Okay.
So I was out there. So I slept in the gym, and then after that, I had a small stint in a kitchen pantry. And
whose kitchen pantry? The gym's?
No, that was I can't. He was like some guy that sold memberships at the gym, so he was just renting out this place. And
so he rented out a pantry?
Mm-hmm. And so then from there, I went back, had a small stint back in the gym, and then I moved into Brandon Vera's garage. And
okay.
So I was there for a little bit. And then
was it a converted garage, or was it a straight up garage?
It was a garage turned into like a studio. So me and one other fighter split that. And then while I was there, I started to go train with Vitor. So I'd go do fight camps with Vitor down in South Florida.
How'd you get hooked up with Vitor?
Through Neil Melanson.
Okay.
So Neil was
one of the coaches at Alliance, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So that was my grappling coach. He put me in contact with Vitor. So I started training with Vitor, which was actually really nice because Vitor actually put me in like a nice condo, which was
way better than a garage with another dude.
Paid me as well. So it was like going to train with Vitor is the best ever.
Where you at, Vitor?
Yeah. And where'd I go from there? Then from there, I was going to actually follow Neil down to Florida, but things just kind of got weird, and I got in I ended up going back to Iowa and just staying at my uncle's house trying to figure out where to go, and I really was running out of money, kind of running out of options. And so I'd been in Arizona and I had a good network and I knew I could work in Arizona. And so I reached out to Aaron Simpson and just kind of explained the situation. I was like, hey, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I need to get back to training. I need to get, working because I almost have no money. And so then I came back to Arizona and just like.
Is that when you were living in your RV?
Yeah.
Camper?
So I was living in a travel trailer out in AJ. Just found some guy on Craigslist. And he had a travel trailer he had like 6 travel trailers next to his house. Okay. He just rented them out.
Weren't you in there for like a day? Didn't you get kicked out of there?
No, I lived there for a couple months.
Oh, okay. But then didn't you have a friend that came in?
Yeah.
You got to tell this story. This is funny.
So I'm not going to put his name out there, but anyone who knows us knows exactly what I'm talking about. A crazy, crazy friend. So he was in a different state. And he wanted to come back to Arizona as well. So he reached out to me. He's like, hey, can I come stay with you? And I explained everything. I was like, well, I have no money. I'm living in a travel trailer.
How big was the travel trailer?
Really small.
Like 10 feet wide? I mean long?
Probably like 15.
Okay.
Just really,
Like a bed and a kitchenette type of thing?
Yeah, a little tiny kitchenette and then like a little bed, like a little mattress in the corner.
How much does that run you a month?
I think I was paying $350.
That's not bad.
Not bad.
That's not $350 for a place to stay.
Yeah, and when I met with the guy, it was like, have you ever killed anyone? Like, no. Is anyone looking for you? No. I don't care if you do drugs. You don't care if you drink. Just don't fuck up my property. Don't do drugs here. And so that's where the other guy comes in because he likes to do drugs. And so he wanted to come stay, and I explained. I was like, listen, like, you can't live your lifestyle here because, like, you can come stay with me, absolutely, but you can't behave the way you behave because if I lose this place, I'm homeless.
Yeah.
Like, so
and
I can't take those chances.
You're not going to find another place for $350 a month.
No, and I explained it, like, I need this. Like, I can't, like, you can come stay with me, but you can't mess this up for me. He's like, yeah, for sure. So he comes and stays, and I think the very first day I leave him, I go to the gym, go do my things, and I come back and he's sitting. He had stolen someone else's like lawn chair, put it in front of my travel trailer, stole someone else's little Weber grill, and was sitting out in front of my travel trailer, just fucked up out of his mind with a couple tall boys, just next to him, cooking hot dogs on someone else's Weber grill, and that
doing drugs, drinking, stealing,
and,
all day one.
So I just told him, I was like, all right, let's go visit one of our other friends, and then drove over to his house in Phoenix, and drove home without him. Yes, that was it.
It was like a dog. You drove him out to the field.
And it was like, kept getting phone calls like, hey, when are you going to come pick him up? Like, oh man, I don't think I'm able to make it out there. So.
And how long? So then you were at Power. You were at Power for a long time. Mm-hmm. Is that when you got? Because you were in the UFC. You were 4-0 in the UFC, and then was that? You weren't in the UFC before you got to Power, right? That was through the manager of those guys, and that's how you ended up getting in.
Yeah, so I was super early in my pro career. So I went out to Power. I was still going down to Florida and training, and then Power went under. And so when that was happening, I kind of saw that happening before it happened because there was no one there.
Yeah.
Like, you go to practice and there was no one there. And so I left and I went back out to California and I went to Victory MMA, and I was doing some cross training. I was going over to Alliance for sparring and stuff, but I was training at Victory. And then at Victory, I got the RFA title fight, fought for the belt, and then after that, I got signed to the UFC. And so then I was at Victory for 3 of my fights, and then Stephanie got pregnant. 3 of my UFC fights, Stephanie got pregnant. Like, I put it all on her.
Yeah.
So me and Stephanie,
it's all her fault.
Yeah, started having a child, and
you had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, and just being in San Diego and starting a family just wasn't feasible. Couldn't do it. So
if you don't have money to live out there, you can't. You're a pauper. Unless you're rich, you're poor.
Yeah, I mean, we had a tiny apartment. It was nice. It was on the bay. The apartment wasn't nice. Where we were at was nice, but we paid like $1,600 a month for this tiny little apartment.
Brutal.
And then we came out to Arizona and we got a 3-bedroom house, 3 2.5 baths for $1,500, paying less money. Like,
Arizona has the best cost of living.
It does.
It's starting to go up now. I mean, it's not like stupid, like, you know, LA, San Diego, New York. It's like going up, but it's pretty solid. You can't really beat it. So you were what, 6-0 before you got in the call to the UFC?
Yep.
So what was that like? So you got signed to the UFC. Like, are you like, I'm rich? Like this is it? Was that it, or was it like, whatever?
I don't know, man. At first, when I got the news, like I got trust issues, so I just really, I was like, I'm not gonna get excited about this at all until I actually see a contract. And then I waited, it became a real thing. I actually started talking to the UFC, so I was like, oh shit, I'm actually at the UFC now. And the fight was. Did you
panic when you realized it was real?
No, it just felt right. Like I knew kind of, you win the RFA belt, you go to the UFC.
Yeah.
So it made sense. Everything was right. And so the fight was out in Colorado, and.
In Denver? Mm-hmm. At Elevation? Mm-hmm.
So
Did that suck, or was that all right?
Well, I got out there early, so that made it all right. And it was a pretty quick turnaround. I think I was like 6 weeks after the RFA title fight.
Okay.
So I went out there. Frankie Sanchez is the man. Frankie Sanchez.
How do you know Frankie Sanchez? It seems like everyone on the fucking planet knows Frankie Sanchez.
Everyone knows Frankie Sanchez, and everyone says he's the best guy.
Yeah, he's
on
like the best guy ever. You know, owns a bunch of food trucks up there. Mm-hmm. I think he's got some other businesses up there. Used to be a pro boxer. I think he might have fought Kelly Pavlik. Frankie's the man.
Frankie's the man.
Hope you're listening, Frankie.
Yeah. So Tony, my coach in San Diego, used to train Frankie, and so Tony, asked if he could help me out. And literally the greatest human being on the planet just took me in with open arms, like, oh, see, here's stay in my basement. Like, we're here.
Of course I can help you out. I'm Frankie Sanchez.
Yeah. And so I got up there early, and I actually had an opponent change. I was supposed to fight Josh Stansberry, I think is who I was supposed to fight, and he pulled out. So then I got Henrique da Silva. But I got out there so I could get acclimated.
We're turning the lights off. You guys are in this. There's a light issue. And it keeps making noise, so I just turned it off. So now we're sitting here, not in the complete dark.
Could get darker.
It's a little intimate, though.
Yeah.
It's a little... Somebody walks in right now and asks what we're doing. We'll have some explaining to do.
So that's not what it looks like?
Yeah, no, it's not what it looks like. We're not podcasting in the dark. So you got out there, so you won the fight. How was that walk compared to your first amateur fight walk?
You know what? It was actually, that was one of those moments that was like kind of similar. Like I felt more like, oh shit, like this is a big deal, but it just kind of shut it down. There was one point, like, I like to bring my Bluetooth, and like every fighter does.
Yeah.
You play music, and I don't know who sings it or even what it's called, but it's like, I got a bad feeling about this. And that started playing right before it's time to turn off the music. I was like, fuck. And
can I get a do-over?
Yeah, someone like went and like slammed it off. But but I was, it was,
were you listening to 80s music back there too?
Man, I think it was more of like, I think I was listening to a lot of like Blink-182.
Okay.
Kind of.
Because you have the single best backstage playlist ever.
Thank you.
That's hands down.
Thank you.
Because everyone else is like rap. Everyone's listening to rap these days. Like nerdy white kids are listening to rap. Every once in a while you get like the heavy metaler, but that's a rarity these days. You get a lot of reggae, a lot of cool, funky stuff. People are trying to be like chill. And then you have you. And you're listening to Michael Jackson, Dirty Diana, like Journey, all the good tunes.
Some uplifting, makes me want to dance, makes me want to move. That's what I'm looking for. Just to kind of keep it light and fun. Well,
I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but you've had two big. So you fought Halloween and PFL. Mm-hmm. So we'll backtrack a little bit, after this. But you fought Halloween PFL, and you wanted to come out to, what was the song?
Somebody's
Watching Me, and they didn't play it. They played like Bad to the Bone or something like that. And then
what did they play? Was it Bad to the Bone?
It might have been Bad to the Bone.
Okay, because that's what came off
on New Year's. You had it between Rhythm is a Dancer. What was the other one? Was it Madonna?
That's why I've been.
It was Rhythm is a Dancer. You had one of the Marky Mark, or no, not Marky Mark. Donnie Wahlberg.
I got to get through this.
Yeah, I got to get through this. And then what was the other one?
Rhythm is a Dancer.
But there was another one. There was 3.
Marky Mark was in there, but we cut that one out pretty early. And
And what'd you decide on? Rhythm as a Dancer or what?
I think Rhythm as a Dancer.
But then they played your Halloween song.
Yeah.
Somebody's Watching Me for that one. So they fucked both of those up.
I love the PFL. Mm-hmm. I absolutely love the PFL, but whoever's running the music has to get it together because I reach out, I make sure a week before, and I send it to everyone that I know at the PFL, just please get this in the right place. This is what I want to come out to.
Yeah.
And the only one I think they got right was my very first fight in New York, which was George Thorogood, Bad to the Bone. But then they bounced it.
They ruined it. Halloween night, it always feels like somebody's watching me.
Yeah.
That's the best.
It's been perfect.
Yeah, and then they fucked it up. And then that really crippled me. I remember walking out going, well, this is a bad sign. Yeah. And you won. But all I was thinking was, well, this is a bad sign. Anytime any of those weird things happen, I'm a weird human. I'm not spiritual, I'm not religious, I'm nothing, but I'm superstitious as fuck when it comes time to fighting.
Yeah.
One thing, when music is wrong, it always weirds me out. And the other thing, and I've noticed this, it's only 2 times it proved me wrong out of 50. If I don't clap for an opponent, when they get announced, my guy always loses.
Okay.
Every fucking time. You gotta
clap for the opponent.
Yeah, so that's why you'll see me in the corner. I will always clap, when they're announcing, all of your guys' opponents, everybody's opponent, I always clap. And if I don't, because sometimes it's just, you're running around, you're pouring somebody water, you're moving around. A lot of times it happens when you guys are the blue corner, because you'll get announced first, and then we're going to get sat down, and then they're announcing the other person, so sometimes I'll forget. And I always try not to forget because it freaks me out.
I'm going to start doing that whenever I corner. I'm going to start doing that.
I always clap for everyone else, but if I don't, and there's only 2 times, one of my guys, Josh Madrigal, he had his pro debut last year, and I didn't clap, and I sat down and was like, we're done. We're done. We're losing this. This is it. We're done here.
Sorry, bud.
This is it. And he ended up getting elbowed in the back of the head, and it's started out kind of bad, and I'm like, we're over. We're done here. And then he ended up winning it. And then the second time was actually just this last weekend. We were talking about Chance Aki. It was his amateur debut. And I didn't clap or sit. It was so loud in there. I've never been in an arena that was so loud. And I didn't clap. And then it starts going. And I'm like, oh man. And he gets dropped in the first round. And he was kind of wobbly for a good 10, 20 seconds before he got his bearings. And I was like, we're done here. I did this. This is my doing right here.
Sorry, Chance.
I'm sorry I didn't clap. But the music is another one. When they mess up on the music, it's always a bad sign. It freaks me out. Nothing has to go perfect. Those are the only 2 things I need to occur, or else I'm like, well, we're losing no matter what. Do you listen to that type of music all the time, or what do you listen to on a regular basis?
No, I listen to a lot of random stuff. It's gonna sound like a freak, but if something is interesting at the time, I'll just punch in YouTube benefits of something. So broccoli sprouts. I ate a bunch of broccoli sprouts today, so I listened to Dr. Rhonda Patrick talk about broccoli sprouts for 20 minutes today.
So you're listening about podcasts or something.
Yeah, I don't listen to music very often.
I thought you were listening to music about. I thought you're.
Oh no.
You're typing in that to get a musical playlist or broccoli sprouts.
So unless I'm at the gym or about to fight, I don't listen to music.
Okay, I can see. I don't really listen to a lot of music either, unless I'm at the gym.
But I'm almost I probably listen to YouTube stuff, videos for an hour a day.
Okay. What type of stuff? Is it all health related stuff or what?
Usually health related stuff. Okay. A lot of the same stuff, just probably reassurance, because I do a lot of kind of weird shit, sitting in the sauna or so to remind myself just to go over the benefits of sitting in the sauna for an hour. But
you do all of the crazy stuff. You've got the hood. What is the halo thing? What's the thing you wear in your head?
Oh, the cryo helmet?
Yeah. What is that?
It's a cryo helmet. It's a nice helmet.
What does it do? What is it supposed to
do? Reduce inflammation on your head. It's just ice in your head. So reduce brain injuries.
And you've got that. You've got the red light.
Do the red light a lot.
What is the red light supposed to do?
It gets blood to whatever area you put it on.
You've got the the sauna. So you're a big believer in the sauna.
Big on the sauna.
Big on the sauna. And that you told me the sauna, if you're in there 20 minutes at a certain temperature, that it starts to increase your cardio because it makes your heart pump.
Yep. So there's Dr. Rhonda Patrick, who I listen to for all this stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of crazy things that the sauna can do, just putting your body under that kind of stress. It's free cardio, and there's a lot of brain benefits for it. And if you stress your body enough, like you start to produce like HGH. And so there's just a lot of like.
Over how long does that happen? Do you have to say more than 20 minutes or?
So I'm not going to even try to repeat the numbers because I'll just sound like an idiot. But like, there's one study she went over and it was like, you do a 20-minute session, take a break, do another 20-minute session, like you'll have pretty significant boosts in like HGH production. And if you do like a 40-minute session and then a little break, another 40-minute session, or then an hour and then a break and an hour, like it's just like 16-fold increase in HGH, which is insane. And then one of my old strength coaches told me that it's, these benefits actually start when you start feeling like panicky. So that's a better way to measure it. So,
because somebody might panic at 10 minutes, somebody else might panic at 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So you need that stress to induce the hormonal benefits.
Yeah. And so kind of like the bro science thing he gave me was like your body, once your body starts freaking out, it makes like a last ditch effort to keep you alive. So it starts producing all these hormones.
What else do you use? You've got the sauna, you've got the the cryo, the halo, the red light. What other stuff?
I've been doing the brain tap a lot lately.
What's that?
It uses lights and binaural beats to put you in.
What the hell is binaural beat? What?
Like it gets you in a. So once you can like actually meditate, like your brain like starts producing, all these different waves and whatnot. But if you use this headset, it gets you there without actually being able to put yourself in like a deep meditation. So it's like a cheating way to meditate.
So you cheat your way to your way to calm.
Yep. So I've been doing that. Come hang out. I've invited you over to the Weird House.
So you're big on the CBD as well, though.
Big on the CBD.
Big on the CBD. Do you? All right. What about this? Because you have a son. Did you vaccinate your son?
Man, see, he hasn't gotten like the whole board. Like every time we go to do it and I talk to the doctor, I'm like, what does he absolutely have to have?
Yeah.
Like, what do we need to do? And we do it. It's kind of scary because you don't want to hurt your kids, but you also want to do everything possible to keep them safe. I don't think you should overdo it, but there's a reason why we're all super healthy, and it's vaccines. Like
there's a reason why we don't have polio.
Yeah, that's why we're not
or smallpox.
So,
but we're getting coronavirus.
Yeah. So I think you gotta. I mean, I'm not. If a doctor says you got to do this one, like I'm gonna do it. Like, I never got a flu shot until we had Jack, and it was because the doctor was, it's best if you get a flu shot because you have a small child.
Yeah.
You shouldn't get the flu, and I never, got sick or anything, and it wasn't so much of like being an anti-vaxxer, it was just not having insurance, and like not having money. But like I never did anything. But
I'm so pro vaccination and pro standard health practice. I've never got a flu shot because they freak me out.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems weird to me. I don't know why. Like I don't want to. If anybody were to ask me, like I could have my children here right now, and the doctor's like, "Hey, do you want to give them a flu shot?" I'd be like, "Yeah." Do you want a flu shot? I'm like, "No."
Yeah. But,
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So I never did it. But then again, when you have a medical expert saying you should get this for your, if you get a flu shot, it's going to help your kid.
But these medical experts, all right, so as big as I am on vaccinations and medical experts, I shouldn't even say this. My kids are going to kill me on this. My wife might kill me on this. When we had Enzo, my oldest son, we went to the doctor and they gave birth, or not they, she, my wife gave birth. It wasn't plural, but she gave birth. And then they came in and were like, "Hey, are you going to circumcise your child?" And we're like, "Yeah, I guess so." Like, sure. And they're like, "Well, if you do that, you're having elective cosmetic surgery on your newborn child." And we're like, "Whoa, huh?" And they're like, "Yeah, you don't need it at all. There's nothing. You should not get them circumcised."
The doctor told you this?
Yeah, they were so anti-circumcision, and they made us feel like if we had gotten our child circumcised, that we were just pure tyrants, and it was nothing but cosmetic. Do not do it. And we're like, "Whoa, okay." Didn't get him circumcised. Same thing with Lennox, my son, 2 years later. Then after that, we went to the doctor. I don't know, because Enzo was having all types of medical issues going on with an uncircumcised penis. And then the doctor was like, "Yeah, why didn't you get him circumcised?" And we're like, because they told us not to. They told us like this was like we were horrible people. And they're like, "Oh yeah, they change like every 2 years." Like, wow. Yeah, like either they'll say do it or not do it. And they're like, now they're so hardline, get your kid circumcised again. And we're like, we're like, what? So science. I mean, eggs are good for you. Eggs are bad for you.
Yeah.
Vaccines are good for you.
The circumcision, my wife's a nurse. She was, got to get him circumcised.
Yeah.
Pretty sure the doctors recommended it. And I had no hesitation because I just remember that one kid that wasn't circumcised that's in the locker room, everyone's making fun of his, so you know what? We're getting him circumcised.
I was 100%.
He's not going to be that kid.
No, my kids weren't going to be that kids. They were not going to be the kid that didn't get circumcised. And then the doctors shamed us into keeping our child natural. Now I just, when they're older, I'm like, you guys, whenever you say the word, I'll make it done. I'll pay. I don't care how much money it costs. If you want that done, cleaned up down there, you let me know. And
that's I feel like waiting later, that would be...
That'd be a big deal.
You just got to make that decision.
It's like getting your tonsils out. When you're a kid, it's not a big deal. But when you're an adult, that that'll put you away for a couple weeks. Getting back to fighting and stuff, you fought in the UFC, you went 4-0, then you were in the PFL. And what was your favorite moment of any of that?
In the PFL?
Any of it. What's your biggest moment?
Winning my UFC debut. I know that was, you asked if it was a big thing, when getting signed to the UFC and all of that. And I did a good job keeping it just put away and not feeling the emotions or anything. But when I got my hand raised for that win, that was such a long, waited. I wanted that moment for so long. That was such a big deal for me. That was definitely the biggest moment in my career. My favorite, most excited. You've seen me after wins. I don't give a shit.
You're
which sucks because you lose and your fucking heart breaks and you win. It's just whatever. But that one was really special to me. My favorite moment. And then the Yusupov, the second fight in the PFL, that fight I really felt like I just let go and fought. I hadn't done that in a while.
Well, I think that was your best performance of your career.
Yeah.
That was, you went in there, I'd have to go back and watch the fight again because that was a 3-rounder. I think you lost that first round. I think. Maybe I don't remember.
I sat on the stool and I told you I lost it. The two judges gave it to me. One gave it to him.
But it was close, but it was it wasn't whatever. It wasn't we'll call it a loss. Like I said, I have to go back and watch it. It was a close round. I think maybe you lost it, but you came back with a vengeance and beat up a striker by striking, and you just beat the shit out of him. So that was a big one, man. That was a big
moment. I really felt like I let loose.
And that wasn't there's a difference. Because people don't realize, winning a competition is different than beating the shit out of somebody. And you've won competitions before. You go in, you take somebody down, you choke them out. But the Yusupov fight, you went in there and you beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah.
And that feels different. As a man, as a fighter, as somebody that's doing this, hitting somebody is it's different than taking them down, winning a decision.
Yeah.
And that was a big one. How did it feel winning? Going from the UFC to, which is the pinnacle of the sport. That's people regard that as the highest, biggest organization, the highest level of sport. You chose to sign with the PFL instead of re-signing with the UFC. You got a huge pay bump in doing so. Is a big financial gain, which people don't always realize. They think, oh, you're in the UFC, so you're making millions versus, not. You made a lot more in the PFL than you probably ever could in the UFC in 6 months. But then you went and you won, or actually you lost your first fight in the PFL, a close one. Mm-hmm. But then winning your next fight you won. How did that feel? Winning that first PFL fight, because it was, you hadn't lost before. Your first fight before, or your fight previous to that was a loss, but then it was a different organization. Was that weird, or did it just feel like another win, or what?
I don't know. I think that was our first fight together.
Yep.
The fight with Siggy. I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone in the sport, but I knew I was a lot better, and I knew that was going to kind of just go. It wasn't a very good win.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
You knew that was getting you into the tournament.
Exciting, yeah. It was kind of just that was one was definitely going through the motions. So when it was
you
done,
dropped him, what, twice? I think in that fight too.
I think once.
Okay.
Just rocked him real good and ran into a shot. But that was, we didn't have a ton of time together, so that was kind of just trying some stuff out that you guys had taught me and just trying to get some reps in. So that win wasn't the one win that felt really good was beating. I guess the Halloween night was a really good night. Beating Maxim, and there was no time to really celebrate that one because it was back to the locker room to get ready for Yusupov, and that one felt really good.
And that was a first for me. I'd never coached a tournament before, 2 fights in one night. That was weird.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out like how much time do you put in between?
Oh, you guys
like,
doing it live? That was a very.
It's just like this is it. Like we've had about an hour in between your fights.
Yeah, probably an hour.
And it was like, all right, cool down, rest a little bit, relax. Okay, now we got to get you warmed back up. We didn't know. Is this good enough warmed up? Do we need to warm you up more or less? Like, you know what I mean? It worked out, but that was weird.
Yeah, that was an experience. That was definitely one of those, like, just fuck it. Let's we gotta
let's go do this.
We're doing it live.
Yep.
Like,
that was a fun night. What was that, Maxim? So you beat Maxim, then you beat up, and Maxim was a good one because that was, you got your revenge on him because he beat you in your first loss.
Yep.
And then of course, so then Yusupov. Halloween was a good night.
Yeah,
that was fun.
A good night. That was a
good one. And then now, I mean, the tournament's over. You're hanging out. You just went on a cruise. Now you're just enjoying the good life. You're dadding it up.
Being a dad, yeah.
That's it.
Jack's birthday is Thursday. We're doing his party on Saturday.
Nice.
So
that's right.
You and everyone fight ready. You need to be there.
I will be there. What time is that?
4.
Okay. Done. But I wore my New Balance shoes in honor of you.
I actually couldn't find my New Balances, so I put on my Crocs.
Wait, those are Croc shoes?
These are Croc shoes, yeah.
Which is, so all right, so I got to ask, because you're the daddest man on the planet, but you came in here actually looking pretty normal today, which I told you I was upset about. I thought, I hadn't seen you in a little while from your fight. You've been on vacation, hanging out, doing stuff. I thought you were going to come in looking like a homeless person, and you came in looking normal, and I was shocked and a little disappointed.
I'm sorry.
But how did you go, like, were you always, because we always joke, you dress with like 1996 New Balance, and I've never seen you wear a shirt before. Like, you walk into the gym with literally a garbage bag for your gym bag, and you look homeless. You look like you're collecting money off the street, but then you come in and like throw people.
Which I may or may not have been.
Yeah. Like, you pull out your cardboard sign out of your bag. Have you always been like that? In terms of like dressing, just not giving a shit, or is it since you had a child?
I've never given a shit about what I wear.
Okay.
Ever. I actually started caring about what I was wearing after Jack because it kind of became funny. So like the New Balances. And the New Balances, I actually went to an event out in LA, and I knew everyone was going to be, peacocking, putting on all their nice, expensive clothes and, Gucci shirts and I don't even know any brand, super expensive shoes. And like, I knew I needed to look nice, and I don't know how to do that. Yeah. I didn't know where to begin. How
long ago was this?
This was when Jack was probably like 1, maybe. Okay. And so I needed to look good, and I just had no idea where to even begin. And so I said, fuck that. And, instead of putting on super expensive shoes, because like, the whole purpose was to get noticed. Uh-huh. So I just didn't know how to do it, and I didn't want to do it.
What was the event for?
Some fighting stuff.
Okay.
And I just didn't so I just said, fuck this. And I went and just bought the daddest outfit I could find. And it turns out I actually was the one who got all the attention out of everyone trying to peacock. So it worked out, and I just ran with it. Nice.
You're on social media, and your Instagram is one of my favorites. Like, it's
Thank you. I need to be more active on it. I'm really active on the story. Like the actual post.
But I feel like everyone's active on the stories these days, and people don't post as much. It's almost like your business section is your posts, and like your casual hangout section is like your stories. Not just you. I mean, like everyone these days, it's like kind of like that. But your stories are funny, and you post memes and pop culture shit all the time. Your own personal stuff, you hanging out, which is always funny too. We're talking about fighting. You fight. I coach fighting. I really want to talk to you about this pop culture stuff, because it's a funny thing that you're making fun of pop culture with, not making fun of it, but we kind of make fun of all of the glitz and the glamour. But then you were on TMZ. How'd you get on TMZ?
That would have been through my manager.
Okay.
He set that up.
Ali?
Ali set that up, it's so funny to me. Like, we talk about how people use their social media and how people want to do certain things with their social media. And, I happen to do a lot of these things. Like, I was getting paid to wear underwear this year. Like, I'm some fat guy from the Midwest. Like, and how many, different people out there, want that life.
Yes.
And, want to be on TMZ. And it's like,
and you're on TMZ.
And it's funny because it's,
but the best thing is you're on TMZ not talking about, like, they asked you, I think, what you were going to buy if you won the tournament, the PFL tournament, $1 million. And they're asking you about a car. And you're like, well, there's this Kia I saw and this and that, which is, Kia's a fine car.
Love Kias.
Love Kias. Not what probably most people would talk was their dream car. And you're just over here going on and on about a Kia. And it was the funniest thing on the freaking planet. While you're on TMZ, like you have the biggest platform in the world, and you're talking about owning a Kia, and you're getting paid for underwear. You're an underwear model,
right? It's amazing.
But then you see all these other people, these other influencers with quotes, because everyone wants to do it. Everyone's posting social media shit. Do you think any of these people are doing anything with it, getting paid?
I don't know.
How'd you get the underwear gig? Did they come to you or did you go to them?
I think I actually reached out to them.
Okay.
Because it was something, just the weirdness of me, like trying to keep, like they're like EMT radiation blocking underwear, which it's actually an incredible product. Like, wearing them right now. So that's how that came about. As far as other people making money, like I'm sure there's some people making money, but I doubt it's probably the really famous people that are actually making money off of it. I don't know if you're a person who has a bunch of bot followers can really make real money off of it. I feel like it's so saturated. There's so many people trying to do it. Maybe.
If you could be one Instagram influencer, what would you do? Like, what would you do? If you could have one product, and I don't mean like money, like I mean like just a weird product. If you could get some like a random thing, somebody to sponsor you for money, what would it be? Not even money, like product type stuff. What would it be?
Ooh,
what would you hawk?
If I could get, I'd probably want the most expensive thing.
But not the most expensive thing. I mean like
one product.
Just like a random, like what do you want to...
Oh man, I don't know.
If you could be a spokesperson for someone.
What's the like price range for this product?
I don't know, like, just something that you would use on a regular basis.
Oh man, I don't know. I feel like the price range is
like household goods.
Household goods. Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
like just regular household goods. You're doing regular household stuff throughout the day.
I do have the best sponsor in the world.
What's that?
And that's Stay Classy Meats.
Oh, yes, you do.
I mean, that is actually the sponsor that I want and I have, and I love them, and it's literally the best like quality meat you'll ever have. It gets delivered to my doorstep.
You do it right. But see, that's the thing is you do it right. A lot of these influencers, they get stuff and you can tell it's just like a product placement type stuff. But you're a cook. And you're always cooking shit that I want to eat. I don't even eat meat. I haven't eaten meat in 20 years. I'm like, today might be the day I stop by Jordan's house and eat a steak. Yeah.
I got a hankering for a pork chop.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go do that because you're always cooking shit and you're doing it so you do it well. Other people will be like, this is not a product placement. I love Stay Classy Meats. They do some shit.
Well, that's one thing that's really important. Like, I don't have a ton of sponsors. I don't work with a ton of companies. I actually work with companies that, stuff that I use. Like, I won't reach out to a company, or if a company reaches out to me and it's something I'm not going to use, it doesn't make sense. Like, I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to weaken my brand by posting something that's
just nonsense.
Not me, that everyone can see right through. So
unless they paid you a lot of money.
Right. Then
then I'm all in.
But I mean, it's hard to get money with that in MMA because again, back to, I don't know what other influencers are like, but I know what the market's like in MMA, and it's super saturated because
well, everyone's selling. I noticed this the other day. Like there was and I don't know if she's getting money at all, but Ariane Lipsky. Do you know who that is? She's in the UFC. She's come and trained with us a few times at Fight Ready. And I saw her doing a post, and it looked kind of like a semi-professional like video stuff done. It wasn't like just, hey, try the CBD. But it was a CBD thing. And then I clicked on the CBD thing. I was like, who is the CBD company? And it was like 3,000 followers. And I forget how many followers Ariane had. Maybe... but I think over 100,000. And I would bet money. I do not know this at all, but I would bet money she's just getting product.
Yeah.
And she probably has a coupon code. And if anybody buys it from there, she gets 10 or 20% of whatever. And I was thinking, like, this is ridiculous that everyone, I mean, nobody's making money on sponsorships. Nobody's making money on Instagram. It's insane. But everybody is hawking products.
Yep.
And I don't know why. Like I actually had one of the MMA managers called me recently and was like, "Hey, we got the CBD company and this and that. They're going to do product. And I'm like, nah, I just don't have, I have zero interest in it.
Like I have I don't do that. If anyone reaches out to me and it's like, oh, we'll give you this code, we'll do that. Like, just, hey, sorry, I can't do that because there's such a small percentage on such a small, price. It just doesn't make any sense. And the problem with, sponsorships and it's so like saturated is because like, I, had a really good deal. I worked out, put a lot of work into this project. And then, some, manager came along and pretty much, took it and was just like, well, instead of paying him, why don't you pay me and I'll get you, 30 fighters. And it's like, fuck. And that's how it's always
Was that when you were in the UFC or was that beforehand?
During the UFC. So it's like,
when you started in the UFC, were you still able to get sponsors or had Reebok come in yet?
Reebok was there. I got in, Reebok was already there. When I left, Reebok was still there. What
do you think? Did you like the Reebok deal or do you think you could have done better without it?
The Reebok was probably a good thing.
You think so?
I did really well with sponsorships outside of the UFC. I did a good job, getting money coming in while I was in the RFA. But it would be, I don't know. I think the Reebok deal is probably good because I know a lot of people talking about it before, just like how, because the same thing, a while ago, sponsorship used to be everything in the UFC because people would just pay out so much money. But then, why pay one guy $20,000 when you can go pay a bunch of other people $1,000? And, instead of getting it on one person, you get it on 20 people. So I think by the time I was in the UFC, no one was making big money.
Right up a little, yeah. We used to have, there was a golden era of sponsors. I would say, gosh, maybe 07 to about 2012 or something like that. I was sponsored with MTX Audio, and we were getting salaries every month. Yeah. Me and a bunch of my guys. We had, at the time, I had Efren Escudero, who had just won the UFC show, Seth Baczynski, another guy, Ryan Kelly, Danny Martinez, who was in the UFC, myself, a couple others. And we were all making $1,000 to $3,000 a month, whether we fought or not. I mean, that was just like, and some of these guys never even, hadn't even turned pro yet, and we're making money like that. Then, of course, there were bonuses when you fought. I was getting, one time I fought, one time I didn't even fight because I broke my hand beforehand. And for the fight, I was supposed to get $3,000 in 3 42-inch LCD TVs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and that was awesome. Then the fight fell through because I broke my hand a week out on Seth Baczynski's head. Of course, son of a bitch. So, I talked to my manager at the time, and he said, don't even worry about it. Just hold it over for the next fight. That's how stupid sponsorship money was back then. Yeah. Is they gave me $3,000 and 3 LCD TVs. And I didn't even fight, and they didn't even blink an eye. We're like, yeah, whatever, we'll get it on the next fight. And then now, I mean, unless you have a friend that owns a local company and they're going to give you $500, you can't get shit now. How'd you get the Stay Classy Meats thing? Did you reach out to them, or did they reach out to you, or is that through a friend, or what?
Through a friend. And yeah, I just have a great relationship with them now, like really... Truly love those guys. Sponsor
wise, are you going to reach out for more sponsors? Are you going to do anything? Like, how does that work?
No, I mean, I pretty much have the companies I work with. I don't bother. I used to be on it, especially before the UFC. While I was in the UFC, I was on it all the time. I was reaching out to all these companies and trying to, make deals and trying to work with different people. But it's just, the money's just, it's hard to get money. And it really is really the way to do it is you find a company that's not involved, and you have to actually want to help them out. You can't just go in there just trying to get money. If you want to make money, in my opinion, if you want to make sponsorship money, you need to find a company that's not already involved in MMA that would like to do, some advertising, and you actually truly want to help them out and not just get some money, and you build a relationship with them, and you're their first ticket into the MMA space. And that's the only way you're going to make any money, because eventually, as good a relationship as you have, eventually, some other manager is going to come along. He's going to take your deal.
Yeah.
And
they all do.
That's what's going to happen.
They all do. The managers kind of...
And I tell, like I said, I always talk to people, and I keep it really honest. Like, you can do this, but if you can go with 20 different fighters, but you're going to get a very, I'm Jordan Johnson. This is a paid advertisement for this phone case. And it's not going to really, you're going to waste money, but you can work, if you can have a good relationship with someone and you really can use the product and you can push it.
We see it. So not even just in fighting. You go to Instagram at all. How many paid sponsors? We're just inundated with content all the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, so much of it is ads. Everyone's selling something. We're just kind of sick of being sold on stuff. And you know that. You know you're going to be sold. Every time you fucking turn your phone on, you're being sold on shit. We talk about something now. I'm going to turn my phone on and I'm going to have an advertisement for Stay Classy Meat scrolling through my freaking Instagram. Like, people don't realize, they think, oh, you're a fighter, so you're a millionaire and you're getting millions of dollars and stuff everywhere. And what they don't realize is you made more money in the last 6 months in a smaller show, the PFL, than you did in 4 fights in the UFC.
Whole career.
Your entire UFC
Everything
career.
put together.
I wanted to ask you a second ago, like, what you've done a lot from start of your fighting career till now. What's the biggest thing that's different than what you expected it to be getting into any of this? Is it the money? Like
No,
where
I
you're
didn't.
at
I didn't get into fighting for money. I definitely got in for like redemption.
Okay.
I mean, I was never really thinking about the money.
Did you know that you weren't going to be I mean, because you had a good run, 4-0 in the UFC.
The crazy thing to me about myself is when I first started, I don't know why I didn't ask anyone how much money they were making or how much money you could make. I just really didn't know, or I don't think I really cared. But the biggest unexpected thing, I don't know. I think I guess I didn't really go into fighting with too many like expectations. I really just wanted to better myself.
Just did it.
Just kind of, didn't necessarily, I wanted to be a world champ, wanted to be the best version of myself, wanted to just be better than what I was. I wasn't really thinking about money or any of that stuff.
What do you think, if you had to point to one area of your success, because you've been successful, what do you owe that success to? Why have you gotten to where you are right now?
Consistency, hard work. It's kind of, odd because I have, had the most like downtime I've ever had recently, and, I'm not going crazy right now, which is new for me. But I do think my success has come from just putting time in, being the hardest worker. Said I haven't been going crazy like I normally do, so it's kind of weird to say that right now, but I think that's probably been why I've found success in the sport. People
don't realize like consistency and hard work, like that's not like, as a coach I always tell everybody the tortoise won the race. Everybody wants to go hard. They want to, train 6 hours a day for, 2-3 months at a time. And then they hit a wall and they realize like, all right, that's cute, but now you can't train 6 hours a day. You need to train 2 to 4 hours a day, depending, for 6 years before you get any type of success. And I don't think people can grasp that. It's like, it's day in, day out. I always tell everyone, MMA better ruin every aspect of your life for you to be good at it.
And we've talked about MMA is boring. Being successful is boring.
Yeah. Being successful at anything is boring. Mm-hmm. And that's it. But I guess it's hard work and consistency. It's no magic. You didn't grow up super rich. Your parents sending you to every wrestling camp on the planet, I'm assuming. We have, don't come back to the gym right now, Jordan. You don't want to be there. We've got these NFL guys getting ready for the combine who can throw 5,000 pounds in the air, jump 2,000 feet, athletes. Run 240s. It just makes all of us sad. But none of us on the mats are like that. None of us are doing that, but it's just hard work and consistency, day in, day out, doing the same shit.
Yeah. With that said, having kind of looking back at my career and kind of where I'm at, I do think I need to actually chill the fuck out a little bit, because I've spent years just running myself into the ground, and I think it's gotten me really far because I know I put in more work. Mm-hmm. And I'll see other people who are really successful doing not that much, but yet they're being successful.
Yep.
So I really do think I need to chill the fuck out some, because I think I have trashed my body and energy so bad that I need to actually find kind of that balance a little bit. Yep. And not, because you've seen when I'm in camp, I like to go hard and be tired as fuck, because that for me it's that's my reassurance. Okay, I did more than whoever.
You worked enough. You did what you needed to do.
And I think I need to chill the fuck out a little bit.
Yeah. So, and you're not. What are you, 30 now? 31. 31. You can run your body ragged when you're 24. You hit 29, 30, 31. And your body, and it's accumulative though. It's not like you just can't work this hard now. It's you could, but you've been redlining shit since you were 12 years old.
Yeah.
And now you're spine is broken. Like it's like, and it doesn't happen overnight. It happens over the course of 10 years.
Yeah.
But it catches up to you at 30, 31, 32, and you can't keep trying to redline that same, but you don't need to now. You already know you have to put in the grind. You have to do it when you're young. You have to get the shit kicked out of you when you're young, or you're not, you don't really understand toughness. You don't understand what it takes. But now that you do understand what it takes, not only should you keep doing that, but can you keep doing that? You can't. Yeah. Nobody can. We get to that point and you got to start, every athlete shifts the way that they train once they get past 30 or they take steroids.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm not going to do that. So I definitely think I need to start training a little bit smarter.
Yeah.
So, or not smart. It's not like I don't train like an idiot, but definitely need to, if I have a little bit of gas left in the tank, I don't need to go burn it out every day. Like learning how to actually just chill the fuck out. A
guy that I know, sports and conditioning guy, and he said that pretty much exactly what you said. He's like, everybody thinks they have to be dead tired after every workout. He's like, that's like filling a car up and every single day driving it around until you're out of gas.
Yeah.
He's like, then you just have to fill it up again and do it again. He's like, that just is dumb. He's like, go to point A, get from point A to point B, and you have gas left in the tank, great. He's like, it doesn't always equate to better, and that's it. But we're dumb. And if we were smart,
I'm so dumb. I know
if we were
this.
smart, we'd be doing smart people shit, making way more money than we make now, and not getting hurt.
Yeah.
Like all of us, probably most of the people in the sport could have done anything else and made 20 billion times more money. Well, here we are sitting here in the sport, beating our bodies up for pennies. We're all. You've seen the movie The Wrestler, right, with Mickey Rourke?
I haven't.
Oh, man.
I know what
you're
talking about, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, like Mickey Rourke's this old, over-the-hill wrestler. That's us. That's all of our stories.
Yeah.
And it always ends sad.
MMA can be a sad sport. You see a lot of sad endings. Yeah.
And you don't see a lot of people retiring from MMA and just being set for life. Like, we're not. We're making enough money. Every once in a while, we'll get a check big enough to do some dumb shit, but we're so dumb that we just spend it, and then we're right back to where we were, making little money.
People understand it's, you think, oh, you should use your money, invest it, do this. It's like, there's not really enough money.
There's no money to invest.
I could invest this money, but then I'm not paying my mortgage.
Yeah. I bought lunch, you guys. I bought lunch once a week. That was my splurge. Well, Jordan, thanks for coming on. Man, it was good to see you. Haven't seen you in a long time. I'm glad you look good, but I'm sad you look good.
I actually have my bag of cheeseburgers and jorts in the car. So.
And bring them in. You guys out there, like, subscribe, share, follow Jordan Johnson. What's your Instagram handle?
Double J MMA, DOUBLEJ MMA.
Follow Jordan. He will make you laugh. He'll make you cry.
Make you hungry.
Yeah, you will make people hungry. I'm not kidding when I say, like, I watch your freaking Instagram and I'm like, gee, what's Jordan cooking tonight? I'm like, let's see what's for dinner tonight.
I think I'm like the world's okayest cook. I can stand by that. You can ask me to make anything and I can make it, and it might not be great, but it's not going to be terrible.
Do you always cook at your house, or does your wife cook at all?
I do all the cooking.
No matter what?
I do all the cooking.
Is she a good cook?
She can cook. That's just my role.
That's your role.
I'm the cook.
Now, is it super like man shit meals, like barbecue and steaks, or do you go gourmet every once in a while?
I do everything, man. Like I said, if you ask for anything, I can make it.
You'll get an okay version of it.
And it's, it might knock your socks off. It might not, but you're not going to be like, what the fuck is it? Like, get this out of my face. But,
are you a recipe guy?
Sometimes, like if I've never made it before, I'll glance at it, but I definitely freestyle pretty hard.
Okay.
And
I do the same thing. I'll look at a recipe, and then I think I can do it better, and so I'll make some modifications in the way I'm going to do it.
Yep.
It usually turns out okay. Every once in a while, I'll bomb. Actually, I'll say I would say 9 out of 10 times it's like really good, but the one time it's really fucking bad. Well, awesome. Good spending time with you. We'll see. I think next week we're gonna have Henry Corrales on. He's getting surgery, and he's a wild man. He might be the craziest human on the planet.
Me and him go back and forth on social media a lot, so I need to see him.
He's a serial killer, locked up. When he's done in MMA, we're gonna find bodies in his basement. We're gonna go in there and be like, so this is all those missing people. We found the bodies. Henry, you have to explain this. He's gonna be like, what is there to explain? All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Jordan, thanks for coming on.
All right. Thank you.